Hi, second graders. This is Miss Kish, and today we are talking about our personal narratives, right? So, boys and girls, hopefully now you have a plan. You might still be working on it, but hopefully it's pretty close to being finished. One thing you might do today is finish your plan, and if it's not done, that's what I want you to work on first, okay? If your plan is finished, or if you're just finishing it today, I want you to look at it again, look through every page in your plan, every part of your plan, okay? And think if there's anything you want to add, change, or delete. That means maybe get rid of something, okay? So check over that plan one more time. When your plan is finished, you are ready to write your story. And lots of us started doing this yesterday. Okay, so I started writing my story yesterday. I had some time, so I added some more. I think my story is finished, okay? You might think your story is finished too, or you might say, nope, today is a working day. Today I am working on writing my story, okay? If you're ready to start because you haven't started yet, here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at your first picture. You're going to think about what's happening, and you're going to write the sentences that go with that part of your plan. So my first box is all about the beautiful day. It was in the spring. We were canoeing on the James River. So look what I wrote. One beautiful spring morning, my friends and I decided to go canoeing. We arrived at the James River early on a Saturday. The river had many tall trees along the edge. Okay? And then, my friend Kofi and I were in a canoe together. All those sentences tell about this part of my story. I'm telling the setting, I'm telling the characters. I don't have my problem yet, okay? Then I go to the next box and I write the sentences that tell about that picture. And I keep going until I've written about my whole plan. Remember that your plan should be in front of you while you're writing, okay? So you might be finishing your plan today. You might be looking at your plan again to make sure it's really finished. You might be looking at your plan and using it to write your sentences. Or you might say, I'm done. I wrote all the sentences that go with my plan. If that's you, you're going to first be a reader today. After you're a writer, you have to be a reader. So you're going to go back and read your story again. Boys and girls, if you don't do this today because you're still writing, that's okay, all right? If you're not finished, I'm not worried, as long as you're working hard, okay? So let's talk about what to do if you are finished and you're ready to read your story again. I'm going to read mine. I think it's done, so I'm ready to check, okay? Here's what I'm doing. I'm looking to make sure all the parts of my story are there. I didn't leave anything out. Remember that my reader will not see this paper, right? They're only going to read my story. So I have to make sure everything that was in here is in my story so that my reader knows about it, okay? I'm also making sure if there's a word that doesn't look quite right, I'm circling it, or I'm underlining, but you are circling so we can check spelling later. I may be starting to think right now about if I put periods at the end of my sentences, or if it's a question, did I put a question mark? Or if it's showing strong emotion, like you're excited or scared or surprised, maybe you did an exclamation point. I'm starting to think about those things too. The other thing I'm doing is, do I need to add any details? Is anything missing? Okay, so here we go. One beautiful spring morning, my friends and I decided to go canoeing. We arrived at the James River early on a Saturday. The river had many tall trees along the edge. So far, so good, friends. I'm looking at my picture. I'm looking at my words. I think it tells what I want it to. My friend Kofi and I were in a canoe together. I was in the front. We all started to get hungry. We wanted to eat our lunches under the shade of the trees. I might add a detail here. I might say, because it was hot in the sun. Okay? I get to just type and add my sentence right in. If you want to add a sentence, remember you have space between your lines and you can do that. There is a tool. I have to think about how to show you this on the computer. It's called a carrot, and it sort of looks like, here's how I can show you. Kind of looks like the letter V. Okay, so I'm just going to put a V right here. And what you do is if I wanted to add a detail after the word one, I put my V right there, and I would add my detail above it. You know, I can show you that on paper. All right, let me show you. Sorry, hang on for just a minute. So if I wanted to say, maybe I wanted to say one beautiful spring day, but I only wrote one beautiful day. Okay, let's make my face even bigger so you can see. There we go. Okay, so right here, there it is. The hand's in the way. I wrote one beautiful day, but maybe I want it to say one beautiful spring day. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw this carrot. There we go. Just like that, looks like a letter V. And then I put the word spring above it. Okay, and that shows that I want to insert or add that word in that spot right there. Okay, so if you're reading and you want to add details, you could do it that way with a carrot. Okay, back to our story. Oh, let's see here. We wanted to eat our lunches under the shade of the trees because it was hot in the sun. Kofi and I paddled toward the riverbank. I looked up and into a tall tree and saw a snake. Look what I decided to use. Remember these 3 dots? Ellipses. That means my reader has to wait a second before they find out what it is I saw. So I'm using suspense in my story, right? Maybe you might want to try that too. I also used an exclamation mark because when I looked up into that tall tree, I did not think I was going to see a snake. I was surprised, right? It was hanging from a branch. All I could do was scream. Kofi didn't know why, but then he saw the snake too. We yelled and shouted and paddled backward. Our other friends were so confused. Finally, the snake fell from the branch and went into the tree roots. Phew! We went to a different tree, ate our lunches, and told our friends about the snake. So boys and girls, one other thing I decided to add in was a sound word, right? Phew, because that shows how I felt when the snake was gone and it wasn't a danger to us anymore. So that was something else I added. But boys and girls, I kind of like how my story sounds right now. I just added one detail, right? I added how it was hot in the sun, so we wanted to eat in the shade. But the rest of my story I think sounds good. I have words circled that I'm not sure about. I was kind of looking for capital letters. I was kind of looking for periods and exclamation points. I didn't have any questions, so I had no question marks. I was looking over my story, okay? So that's your job today. You might be finishing a plan. You might be looking over your plan. You might be writing the words of the story with your plan in front of you on your lined paper in your writer's notebook. And you might be reading your story again and looking for things that you need to add, things you need to change, or things you need to delete, things you need to take out, okay? That's your job for today. Have